Hello, hello, conscious leaders. Welcome back to another show here at the Life School Masterclass Show. I'm your host, Elona, helping companies align their purpose with profits. And I love today's topic because I really feel like it's one of the most fundamental things that we can do as humans and as leaders to really scale ourselves personally, professionally, but also serve more people with our service and our mission and our purpose behind the companies that we have created and are working so hard to build every day. Today, we're going to talk about leveling up your conscious leadership. And I've realized in my journey that the rising of consciousness and awareness is the key to the kingdom, the key to the things that we want and all the things that we desire. So I'm very blessed to have Emily Ahrens, another fellow light worker, so to speak, in the journey to share some of her experience around this topic and also her gifts with us. So, Emily, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for the work that you do and the service that you provide for others today.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here, and this is my favorite topic, so I'm excited to dive into it.
Let's do that. So, Emily, before we dive into today's topic, I wanted to get into some of the problems that people experience, right? When it comes to why is, raising our levels of awareness in our personal life, and obviously it's going to trickle down to our business important. What is this concept? Like, how would you define it? How would you simplify this for somebody listening that is like, well, I don't know if this is, the right thing that I should be focusing on at this time, or why is this is important. I always like to connect the bigger purpose behind anything we talk about, because then it just becomes another dot, another superficial thing that distracts us
Yeah.
from really the things that we care about. So what are your thoughts around that?
My thoughts with leadership in general is that we are at a time right now that the tides are changing. For some people, it's already changed. You can feel the shift. For some people, you're in the process of shifting out of what is the broken, wounded masculine model of work hard, push harder, striving to just achieve. Your only measure of success is financial. And it doesn't matter come hell or high water, you're going to push yourself to the point of burnout, adrenal fatigue, perhaps weight gain, loss of sleep, anxiety, depression, like all these different slew of ailments, not excluding other things that are far more significant. But we are shifting out of that model and into the model of the divine feminine. The divine feminine isn't a pushover. She's not just like sitting there laying in the back eating grapes. She's fierce. She's powerful. She's confident, but she moves with flow. And she's only doing the things that light her up and that feel amazing. And so things as far as leadership go is if you're already in it, great. If you're coming into it, this is what's coming, which is the things that feel heavy, that feel like pushing, that feel like, why am I even doing this? Even if I am making great money, I'm killing myself. Those things start to fall away. Your business model will start to shift, and you'll start to move only towards the things that light you up, that make you feel light and buoyant and happy and joyful. I actually happen to have a shirt. I just realized I have a shirt on that says, do more of the things that make you feel happy. I just happen to be wearing this shirt. That is the gist of it. That new style of leadership, because if we can bring our fundamental foundation to all leaders to a place of feeling good, that takes a lot of deep spiritual and soul level healing, introspection, really opening up your intuitive abilities, listening to your body's rhythms, and literally just doing the things that feel joyful. If we build foundations and build teams around that, imagine what those organizations start to look like, and those people who start to impact next people. It's this ripple effect that starts from the top of, my friend Andrea says, healed people heal people. So if we have a
Mm.
large spectrum of conscious leaders who are literally moving towards higher level of consciousness, being able to take responsibility for their emotions, being able to lead from a place of understanding and compassion, it doesn't mean that they're a pushover. It means that they're being human in a whole different way. And, when I start to look at, well, the business is making great money, but how do I feel? we have to really look at some different measures of success, because what happens, and I see it a lot in the online space, and I've definitely seen it a lot in the last 2 years, where this online space has really shifted, and top producers are reporting burnout. They're selling off their business. They're saying, I can't do this anymore. They have to take a break because it's literally killing them to make the business the way it is. And so that's where I believe the root is right here of how to level up your business, is to start looking within. What can I do to start feeling better, be happier, doing the things, and lead from that place of healed, from that place of love. And some of the things that I work on with my clients, they're all very successful in their businesses, generally speaking, multi-million dollar companies. And they have to restructure. They have to restructure from the top down, from themselves. If they're looking at their life and they're going, I don't have enough time for this, or I don't have enough space for that. And they're looking at their team, and then their team is a mess, and there's too many people doing too many things. And the CEO is unfulfilled. She might be making great money, but she doesn't feel fulfillment in herself personally, spiritually, her body, her relationships, like everything else is like turbulent. And so it's really about getting aligned with your higher self, and that part of you that says, this is how I want to feel, how I want to think, how I want to lead, and literally not tolerating anything other than that. So that's a long answer to a short question.
Well, thank you for sharing the vision. That's the vision, right? And I felt that on my end. And thank you for feeding us that, because that's what we need to be fed nowadays, right? That's what we need to be fed. I love that you said heal people, heal people. I have not heard of that, but that makes total sense based on our experience. I think certain things like that need to get highlighted because a lot of healers, I feel like, have really have a lot of growth to do because they've hidden their gifts due to
It's
many
true.
reasons.
Oh yeah.
And more of us to shine in that light and kind of follow that and don't accept any freaking thing otherwise than that. And yeah, it's going to take some support for sure for a lot of us. Some of us get there faster, some because every journey is so unique and different. Emily, so then my next question is for the world that is complementary, we have the genders, male and female. So if we lean into divine feminine, energy, which is obviously, I mean, some of us, whether you realize it or not, this was happening. Is this also at a soul level for the male gender and the female gender? At this kind of similar for both, or
Yeah, let
just
me speak
our
to
time
yeah.
as women, or like, what are your thoughts around that? I think there's a lot of like confusion
Yeah,
around.
so let me back up. Let me back up.
Also from the masculine, yes.
Yeah, so I've been an energy practitioner for the last 24 years. So sometimes I say things expecting that like everybody understands my words, and let me just start with that. So we all, regardless of our gender identification or physical biology, we all people have a divine masculine and a divine feminine. We have these energies in our body, and we know, think back to like the yin and yang, right? The black and the white. The black shape has a little dot of white. The white shape has a little dot of the black. We all have both. And we have this balance of energy. So we know, like, for example, acupuncture has been around for 4,000 years. These are systematic ways that we look at the body and how it's an energy field. All of us are made up of energy. All plants, animals, and minerals. Everything is energy. And so if you look at things at a molecular level, we break it down into pretty much everything is this tiny little molecule, these little atoms, and all this space. So all of us are energy. When we look at our energy fields, we have a divine masculine and divine feminine. The masculine, like I kind of described, it's great. So if we think of like the river and the banks of the river, the water would be more of the feminine energy where it just flows and it goes wherever. The masculine are the banks. So it keeps it in the same direction. So we think of masculine energy as very linear, as very strategic, very straightforward, goal oriented. It doesn't have to do with strength or weakness. But if we think of a wounded masculine is a man or a masculine energy it's egotistical. It's somebody who is just thinking about themselves, selfishness. When we go into the divine feminine, that's all about nurturing. It's about empowerment. It's about embodiment. The wounded feminine can be jealous. It can be self-deprecating. It can be um, painful in towards itself. So when we think of our energy, so like the Aquarian age, the shift that's happening to all of us right now in time, or the shift of where we are at in time, out of the Piscean age, which was more of a wounded masculine, into the Aquarian age, which is more of a healed feminine. This is happening to everyone everywhere. It doesn't matter what kind of body you are in, what kind of identity you have. We all are experiencing it. So it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man or however you identify, we all have these aspects. And so when we're in full balance, they work seamlessly together. If you can think of like, my guides are showing me like He-Man and She-Ra, they're brothers and sisters, and they have these warrior outfits on and these swords, and they're like going into battle together, right? So it's like that energy, the strength, they're great on their own, they're even better together. And so we all,
I felt that one.
yeah,
Thank you for that one.
yeah. My guides speak in metaphors and visuals sometimes to like help break down some of these things. So, it's helpful.
Ooh, okay. Let me just remove a few things that I thought were like brilliant. Well, I love you. Thank you so much for sharing those. It's just like the right obviously it's always timing. When timing matches, it is right, it's perfect. And we already know that. So it was the right message to kind of share today. But you said that we are strong separately, we're better together. Is that what you just said with kind of what was coming up for you?
When they're in balance, yeah. When they're in balance.
When they're in balance. Beautiful. And then the other one you talked about is I love the metaphor of the river, because that's always even my personal healing journey around like, oh my gosh, do I lean into this? If I'm more in the flow, then I can't do the achievement. And if I'm just achieving, then I'm feeling miserable because I'm hustling and I'm doing all the stuff. I love the
Yes.
metaphor. I mean, the river needs, the banks right on the side to kind of just keep it guided and channeled towards like towards the journey and the path. So I love that
So
metaphor.
I'll speak to that because for a woman, though this is totally gender biased. This is a gender conversation here because you just hit on something, which is it's sometimes as a woman, it's sometimes very challenging to find our flow because we've been taught and indoctrinated and programmed systematically by male dominated leadership. So classes, and I took business classes. I read business books. Primarily, they were written by white men. You have too, right? So the male model, the way that men think and function, they're on a 24-hour cycle. Women are on a 28-day plus cycle, right? So like we have to also respect our bodies and our rhythms, which do not get respected when we live in a 9 to 5 male dominated, patriarchal, misogynistic workflow that does not appreciate the flow of women's cycles and balancing our bodies. So we've our whole life up until however old you are today, or whenever you learn this, is you realize that you've actually been living in this whole paradigm that does not serve your body and system to recognize. And that's why there's so many women who are like, I don't know if I have intuition. I don't know how to trust myself. Well, because you've been systematically oppressed to not trust yourself, because if you were, you wouldn't subscribe to a model that does not suit your system. It doesn't make sense. So that aside, it's hard to know how to find flow. Like it's great to be like, find flow, follow what makes you happy. But your brain is like, but don't I need to achieve? But don't I need to like get the reward? Don't I need to earn? Because our system has not been taught that. That's not what's been given to us as the model, or safe or secure. Safe, secure is masculine to us. So then a lot of women, now I have all female clients who are very successful. We've all been through this phasing out of like, oh my gosh, so I can just listen to my body and listen to where I am at this time, whether it's with my messaging or my marketing or my programs or my work day, or my offerings, like just to respect my own body's instincts of what feels right and what doesn't. And I can create whatever I want around that versus having to try to force myself to achieve. And that's how we burn ourselves out. That male model is how we kill ourselves as women, is trying to be the male dominated model. We cannot keep doing that.
All right. That's the work. I love it. Yes, I love it. And talk about, I went into personal development to achieve more, but talk about
Mhm.
what can happen when you are leaning more into this and doing that inner work that's required. I love it. It's I mean, absolutely, it's amazing to be able to just be living in this time. I feel like where we're just feeling this, and some of us voluntarily are getting it, or involuntarily. We all
Yeah.
need a little tough love, or maybe we've done it for ourselves, but yeah, absolutely beautiful what's happening. Emily, can you talk to me more around sort of, you said the Aquarius, like what's happening energetically? Can you just tap into more of what you just were just trying to describe with kind of the era we're in and where we're heading, so people have more like of a, because I feel like everything, just like for me too, it's like if I know what we're going in, I think it's going to help a lot of people's safety. And it's going to
Yeah.
help a lot of people with, okay, I can just, especially leaning into the feminine. I know what's
Yeah.
happening. So once you understand what and you know what's happening, you can be safe and you can explore and you can play and you can tap into things that are there. But obviously,
Yeah.
if we're unsafe, we just freak out, so we can't tap it. So, kind of, what is your knowledge or sort of experience with sort of what's happening? I guess collectively now, globally.
Yeah. Energetically, right now, we are moving into a place and time where the divine feminine has risen. She's here, she's powerful. Think of like Xena, warrior princess, right? She's strong, she's powerful, she's capable, but she's not going to take shit from people either. And so in this time, we're being led to only do things that fill us up, that feel good. And the things that are not, they are going to start falling by the wayside. The things that feel like pushing and pressurized, they're going to start falling apart. They're going to start falling. These sort of paradigms that some people call it like bro marketing,
Mhm.
push kind of marketing. You're going to push the pain. If you don't sign up for my program, you could end up in 5 years broke and penniless and whatever, right? Like that style of marketing. You can see um, more of these like
You
people are
can't
becoming.
manipulate people anymore. That's what you're saying. You
You
can't
can't.
manipulate people anymore. I know. Okay, go ahead.
And that's a big part of it. I was in a mastermind with somebody who was teaching us, said, this is the video series that I've created. I read a script, and every word of the script that I created is neurolinguistic programming. It's
Mm,
hypnotic language.
mm,
So they're thereby saying, I'm literally hypnotizing my audience to buy with me.
mm.
And I was the only one in the room who was like, that is so unethical. That is the most disgusting misuse of power that I think I have ever seen. And like all the red flags came up for me. And it was like, this is, we can't. And so it's this kind of outdated model that is shifted out of. And there could be a change in relationships, business relationships, program services, offerings that you have that just don't fire you up anymore. It's like you can't force yourself to do it anymore because like everything in you is like, I will break and I can't, right? You're raising your hand. It's already happened, right?
Oh gosh, all the way, because the it's pretty much what's happening with you, where you see where other people misuse their power to control you. So now there's more patterns that are showing up, especially in business. I love that you just spoke about that, especially for this audience that's so focused on growing their business and they're high achievers, more obviously from masculine, but trying to lean into the feminine. So,
So
yeah.
here's some advice that I have a coaching group and I gave them last week because one of the women on the call was having a particular moment of like panic and freak out. And she said, I want to offer this thing. It feels really good, but like at the same time, I'm freaking out. My husband's putting all this financial pressure on me, and I live in reality. And the reality is that money is really tight, and da 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 da. Like she just kept going on. And so we had to look at the vibration that is causing in her life, in her body. When you're consumed with your thoughts, your beliefs, and your stories, and all the words that you're speaking out, and all the thoughts that are keep cycling through are of worry and panic, this is not helpful. This is something that is crushing. And the energy of that is very negative and it's very prickly. And so I wasn't coaching her on how to make more money. What I coached her on was how to find more happiness and to find more joy. Because when you can sort of flood out, like I have a glass of water, and let's say like these are all, maybe we've all seen the picture, like if this was like brown coffee, for example, and these are all my negative thoughts at the bottom, it's like this brown coffee. If I took a 2-gallon pitcher of water that was clear and I just poured the 2-gallon pitcher into this tiny little bit of brown coffee, it would flood out the coffee and it would be only left with the clear thoughts. And so if I am flooding out this sort of negative, toxic, habitual meanness that I'm speaking to myself, negativity, I'm speaking worry, stress, anxiety that I'm speaking constantly. If I can flood it out with more of the things that light me up, that make me feel happy, it's going to shift my whole vibration. And one of the things that I know to be true for this particular client was that a couple months ago, she went away on vacation. And during her time on vacation, she made more money than she had like the previous month. And so when she came back, I said, when's the next vacation? And she laughed and she said, oh, not for a while. And I said, that's not the right answer. That's not the right answer. Your body, your system went into rest. You,
I love it.
Yeah. You reset your nervous system and you took your focus off of the worry and you just allowed, and everything came flooding in. And so I said, this maybe is the worst advice, but instead of setting a financial goal, set a joy goal, set a happiness goal. How much peace and joy can I create into my life? Because the money will follow after that. It's the natural conclusion. And I can speak for myself personally that for like the last year or two, I had a lot of what she had. A lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, trying to launch things in my business and not having the success that I had, just trying harder, just pushing harder. And it didn't work because the shift of energy. The shift says stop trying and pushing, start allowing, let go, surrender, find joy. Okay, you just took a deep breath, right? So
are we gonna end this session? I'm just
it's totally unconscious. You're like, okay, I'll breathe, right? And so when I said, so here's the thing that I share with my group, and I'll share it with you, which is this. No matter how much I've worked hard and achieved or how little I've tried, there's always this state of continuity, this state of okayness. I'm always fed. I always have a roof over my head. I have clothes on my back. Everything, all the time, no matter how worried I was and stressed out I was, or how abundant and like alive I felt. There's always that continuous thing. And so I kind of realized, well, if it's always going to be okay, why don't I just stop the worry part? Just let that go, because I'm always going to be taken care of no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what started to happen? I stopped worrying so much about my business financially. I got a letter from the IRS that said they owed me $11,000 from overpayment from 3 years ago. I had 2 clients who were on long-term extended payment plans at the same week, within like a 5-day period, said, is it okay if I pay off my balance in full? My mother said, can I take you guys on a all expense paid vacation? I want to take you all on a cruise.
Boom, boom, boom. Oh my.
I had clients who said, I'm wondering, do you take one-on-one clients anymore? I'd like to sign up to work with you one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I know.
like, you cannot so did I worry? Did I put any effort in? Did I do anything? I didn't do anything except for change my thought and my mindset to stop the nonsense worry. And that is the energy of the Aquarian 8 of like, do less, flow more.
Let's stay here. I love this conversation. We will continue this for sure. I love the insight that you have. Maybe we'll get you back and we'll do like another continuation to this. But oof, that was deep. I mean, I know whoever's gonna listen is gonna feel their own. I just felt a lot of. I just felt I was just going through my own depth of growth as we were.
Well,
So
you
thank
had a huge shift.
I did. Thank you for that. You
You're
fed me also, hopefully feeding so many others, which is why I love sharing these experiences. And that could be our new business model and the way that we operate in the very near future. That was the vision I just had. Emily, where is it that we can further continue this conversation with you? Where can we
uh,
find you?
you can find me on my website, emilyarons.com. I tend to hang out, posting more on Instagram than on Facebook. And I'm on both places. I'm also on LinkedIn. So you find me wherever you find me. I have a YouTube channel somewhere that I never post to as well. But my website, emilyarons.com, is the place that you'll find all the links for things.
Well, I don't need to tell you because I know everybody's going to continue. Whoever got connected will pursue and will continue the continuum.
Awesome.
So, thank you so much for the beautiful work you do. Thank you so much for the beautiful space you created for us today. Thank you so much for feeding us with whatever came up for you, and hopefully you also got back a lot of that, and that's the exchange that I hope that we all receive. And yeah, thank you so much for doing the amazing work that you do, and I would love to have you back
Great.
sometime else in the show. And always blessed to have all of you watching, listening, supporting one another, being able to, yeah, if you feel compelled, just share it. That's all I could say. I mean, healers heal others. That's it. So thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time. Another amazing guest and conversation. Bye, everybody.